Hello and welcome to Input Output, your Read Write Book Club sister podcast. My name is Brendan, and with me, as always, is Sam.
Hello.
What's going
on? I ate some waffles today.
I am super jealous. I have not eaten breakfast yet, but I will as soon as this is over. I got some awesome bacon in the fridge. It's like that nice, thick stuff that grills really, really well.
Yeah, so it's still crispy, but got some meatiness on the inside.
Yeah, it's like that nice to it, and it goes down real smooth.
Yeah, that smooth bacon.
Smooth bacon. Not as smooth as Kevin Bacon, but pretty smooth.
How many removes is actual bacon away from Kevin Bacon?
Oh my god. Has anyone ever calculated this? We need to find this out.
I mean, is it 0? Kevin Bacon ate bacon? End of story?
No, I honestly think that there's probably a way that we can connect a major bacon company to Kevin Bacon.
Oh, there's got to have been an endorsement somewhere along the line.
Kevin
Bacon, it's right there. It's as good as the Peter Sarsgaard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, I had waffles today because this is what everyone's here to listen to. I had waffles today for breakfast, but I actually had a hamburger for breakfast yesterday. That's how you know it's summer.
Yeah, I had a hamburger for dinner yesterday.
Yeah, it was my backwards day. I had hamburgers for breakfast and, I don't know, cereal for dinner or something.
I often have cereal as a midnight snack.
Oh, it's satisfying.
Well, it takes away the edge, right, when you're going to sleep.
Yeah, but it still fills your internal organs with grain and dairy.
Exactly.
Which is what you want waiting inside of you for when you wake up.
Well, considering I'm always hungry when I wake up, I don't think it makes a difference.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like I haven't eaten in 8 hours when I wake up because I haven't.
Huh, weird. That's strange. It's almost like your body's supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So what about things that have happened recently? Did you go to Ottawa Comic-Con this weekend?
I did not. I had to work, which is unfortunate because there were people I wanted to see. But it seems to be a big hit. My mom was telling me that they were plastering it all over the news this year. So it was bigger than ever.
Yeah, it's definitely more promoted.
Yeah, but I think that's a natural progression of the growth of the con.
Yeah, and Ottawa's not the first city to see that. It just, I guess it's new to us because we're watching it happen.
Well, I have been to cons in Ottawa since I was 13 years old. Starting with one that does not exist anymore, which was oh god, what was the name of that con? I can't even remember. It was a furry con though, and I didn't know that when I went.
Nice. Giving it up downtown.
Well, to be honest, it's not like people were dressed up or anything like that.
Wait,
it just was.
How do you know it's a furry con if nobody's in the furry suits?
Because all of the comics that they had in the auction and all the art was all furry. And a friend of mine who I met at a con later, who became my friend Kevin, whom you've met, you refer to him as the Doctor.
Mm-hmm. He had that amazing scarf.
He has that amazing scarf. He was telling me that con started as a furry con. It kind of moved away from that in its later years a lot, but it was still a furry con.
Okay. I didn't realize that there was a whole... well, I guess I did. That there's all sorts of furry comics. I've seen the internet cartoons.
Yeah. There's actually a cool publisher, Antarctica Press, that specializes in that, but they've also published some really cool more mainstream stuff as well.
What? More mainstream than fursuits?
Well,
about as mainstream as it gets.
It is nowadays. They published, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to look this up so I'm not wrong, Antarctic Press. All right, we got there. They published a book called Trump versus Clinton.
This isn't a slash fic?
It's an adult coloring book. It's called Uncivil War Inaugural Edition.
So it's just tons of pictures of Trump and Clinton during that like third debate where he was looming up behind her.
Well, the one that's on the cover is Hillary Clinton with Wolverine claws reflecting Trump's face.
Amazing. This is truly what society has come to.
I think it's appropriate.
People can't believe how insane politics have gone, so they've just like gone completely off the deep end. Logan
Nazi
Clinton.
zombies, Sherlock Ninja, Steam Wars, which was a really funny steampunk Star Wars.
Well, what about the more sensible combination?
Time Lincoln?
No. Ninja Nazis. I mean, they were allies during the war, so it would make sense if they exchanged technologies. So you could have like Nazi ninjas on both sides. I'm just saying, it's a missed opportunity.
Yes. Yeah, I don't see the thing I'm looking for.
Well,
maybe they didn't publish that, and I'm just insane.
No Nazi Clintons, I guess. We'll just have to make do with Nazis. The Nazi Trumps.
Sherlock Ninja.
Nazi Sherlock.
Oh man, they have legitimately a Sherlock Holmes with like wearing like the cape and the hunter hat with like a sword and jumping, and the cape's like flying out at him behind him like a ninja cloak.
Are you sure this isn't Dr. McNinja?
Yes. How
can you tell? Because what you described was exactly like every Dr. McNinja panel ever made.
I've never read Dr. McNinja.
It's that.
It's that.
Just what you already described. That's it. Except he's a doctor instead of an investigator? Detective?
Yeah. He'd be a detective, right?
Yeah. He's a consulting criminologist or whatever he calls himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a consulting detective.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we sorted that out.
Yeah, well, you got to get his job title right. Otherwise, what's the point even?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so crossovers. You going to write a crossover anytime soon? Zombies are probably still hot.
I think zombies have reached that place that vampires have kind of reached like 10 years ago, where, you know, it's acceptable to make a zombie movie. You just got to do it in a unique way, and it's, you know, you can only do it like every few years.
Oh, yeah, did you see the XKCD with the meme popularity, the curves, the 10-year time span that they all have? So like zombies, I'm looking at it right now. Zombies started in like 2008 and peaked in about 2012, and then now it's like still falling off. But yeah, like the most current one, according to XKCD, is the definition of a sandwich.
What is the definition of a sandwich?
Well, I would say the definition of a sandwich is something between two bread.
I assume there has to be... Oh, well, I guess I was going to say there has to be meat involved, but I guess not, because you can have like an egg salad sandwich.
Yeah, or a cheese and pickle sandwich.
That sounds disgusting, but sure.
You're wrong. But yeah, that's a legitimate sandwich.
Yeah, okay. Something between two pieces of bread. Does that mean a hamburger is a sandwich?
Well, I think that and hot dogs are really the source of the debate. Because in my opinion, a hamburger is pretty obviously a sandwich because it's got like flat bits inside. But a hot dog, that's a sausage between bread. So is it a sausage on bread, or is it a sandwich, a sausage sandwich?
Here's another question. Does a pig in a blanket count as a sandwich?
A pig in a blanket? That just counts as warm, comfy.
I really want pigs in a blanket. I saw them in the movie I was watching this morning.
The ham is going to be so good. It would be like Kobe beef, but for ham.
Hey, maybe I'll make some hot dogs for lunch.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. That'd be my breakfast, hot dogs. Hot dogs and bacon. Maybe I'll put bacon on my hot dogs.
That's not so crazy. You can just like lie it down alongside. Put your condiments in between.
Yeah.
Well, there's another debate. Do you put anything other than mustard on your hot dog? Like, do you put ketchup on the hot dog?
I would definitely put ketchup and mustard and onion.
See, there'd be a lot of people who'd be upset that you would put ketchup on a hot dog, which is definitely a sandwich.
I'd put ketchup on a sandwich.
Well.
I mean, I regularly eat pizza subs, which have tomato sauce already on them, so...
That's kind of messed up.
I guess. I mean, my taste buds are messed up. So I did find out that Strangers in Paradise, which is by Terry Moore, which is this awesome black and white long-running comic that was pretty much entirely self-published, was in fact published by Antarctic Press at one point.
Good. I've
So I'm not
forgotten
crazy.
the significance already of this.
Well, whatever. I'm just quoting it for the record.
Okay. Well, the record has been spoken to. All hail the record.
All hail the record. Speaking of records, Onion Face's record is coming out soon.
That's true. What is the name of their record?
I don't actually know. I could find out real quick though.
I'm gonna Google it.
Google it. I'm just going to Instagram. It is going to be.
Is it? Maybe this is it. Nope, that's just one song on the onionface.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, that's their new single, Goodbye, Take Care.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see they have a tour?
I did not see that they have a tour. I don't think it's listed here.
It's on Instagram. So the gist is that they have, it's called the Rollover Dog and Run, which I actually believe is the name of their album.
And
so they're playing Aylmer, Peterborough, Toronto, Ottawa, Lévis, Fredericton, Halifax, London, Toronto, St. Catharines, Guelph, Ottawa again, and Montreal.
Okay, so it's sort of a more southeastern Ontario and then Alto Montreal tour.
Well, they're going out to Halifax and Fredericton, so
Okay.
they're going out actually east. But yeah, most of Ontario.
Well, that should be good, man. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
And that's a band that includes
They're
Steph
playing Bovine Sex Club.
Bovine Sex Club.
Yeah, that's
You're
like
gonna
a
have to
really legit live venue in Toronto.
That's the second best name after Bare Naked Ladies for just pure exploitation.
But yeah, that's like a super legit like live venue in Toronto. A lot of like bigger name bands play there.
Well,
Like I know Foles played there when they were in town and like a bunch of stuff.
how could you not with a name like that?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
oh,
super
okay,
legit.
well,
When
we
is
could
that?
go to this bar or we could go to the Bovine Sex Club.
June 15th.
You heard it here first, folks, or maybe you didn't, but June 15th, Bovine Sex Club. Be there
Onion
or be
Face.
square.
I mean, let's talk briefly about the connection to that. Onion Face recorded the lead singer / guitarist of Onion Face, Stefan, wrote the theme music for the Read Write Book Club.
Yeah, so he's our in-house musician.
That's not how I would describe it, but sure.
Well, he's with the studio band just over here on the right. But I mean, the audio audience can't hear, but if they're watching the live stream, they'd see the camera pan.
Right.
He'd wave. He's like Paul Schaefer.
He's like Paul Schaefer. I was watching Stephen Colbert and their band guy like has the most interrupting laugh I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And he just says like yo all the time.
They mic'd him a lot. Like his mic is a lot louder than you would have expected on like older talk shows. You hear him a lot more.
Yeah. I almost felt it was a little interrupting, but I'm not sure if I feel that way, but maybe I do. I don't know. I have never like sat down and watched an entire episode of that show, so I can't really be like, I don't like that guy, but it was like not the most pleasant thing.
Well, that's just rude.
I know.
I have no idea. I don't think I could even tell you his name.
I don't know what it is.
We're the worst Colbert fans.
I debate whether I'm a Colbert fan, but you know.
Well, I'm just going to press stop right now. All right, so I'm sorry, but you're fired. I got some paperwork for you.
Is
have
it
to
all my
record-
royalty money paperwork?
No, man, you forfeit those royalties. You didn't read the small print that said you gotta, I don't know.
I
you
mean,
gotta
I like
I guess.
Colbert, but again, I've never sat down and watched an entire episode of his show.
Well, no, he and all the talk shows now really market themselves on segments, right? Like, and the things that they can post on YouTube and get hits.
Yeah, which is most of what I've seen.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never watched the actual show because I don't have broadcast TV, so that would not be like the easiest thing to do. I'm sure there's a way to do it that's trivial, but I haven't tried.
Yeah. Well, if you're in the States, you could just watch it online.
Yeah, they just stream it, right?
Yeah, it's available on their website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, everyone. Time to get a VPN in America. So you can get your American Netflix and you can get your American streaming TV.
I'll just solve this problem much easier. I'll just get that job at Telltale and go move to the States.
Yeah, there you go. Just
Then I won't even need a
move to that
VPN.
terrifying country.
Well, you know.
Nothing could go wrong there.
You see the news from last night?
Yeah. The
Okay, wait. Before we get into this, do we actually want to discuss politics on this podcast?
I mean, not really. It's current news, but maybe we should just skip it.
Okay, we'll talk about it after.
Donald Trump, automatic cut from this. Any conversation about Trump, I'm just going to edit out afterwards.
Okay.
Including this, and this, and this.
Yeah. So, what do you think about the idea of a fix-up novel?
What do you mean a fix-up novel? Like something that's been written that you're trying to repair, or something that's about repairing things?
Neither.
No.
According to Wikipedia, the god of all knowledge, a fix-up is a novel created from several short fiction stories that may or may not have been initially related or previously published. And then they've been edited for consistency, and new connecting material, such as a frame story or whatever, is written for the new work.
Well, that's interesting, given that we just kind of recently read The Last Wish, which is very much that.
Yes. Though I would argue that, well, I was going to say they were obviously related. But I don't think a requirement is that they are not related. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it told the arc of Geralt in a series of stories that were not originally intended to tell a continuous arc.
Yeah.
And then there was a framing story jammed in that, sort of was connected, but
was it jammed in? I kind of feel like it was a sixth short story that just was kind of given to us in parts.
Yeah, I see that as well. But that one was definitely edited to be consistent with the other short stories, because like it happened between, I think, the first and the second one, right? Because he has the neck wound at the beginning of the framing story.
It definitely happens after the first one, but I don't think it happens in between the second one, because doesn't your man reference that he already knows about him being the Butcher of Bleviken?
Yes. Yeah. So okay. So they don't happen in the order that they appear in the book, but like it ties in, that framing story ties into the other stories.
Yeah, for sure.
So okay.
Yeah, well, it does, because it's kind of like the framing story sets up this sort of old memory, which then inspires the story behind that memory.
Right. It's very even if it were originally a standalone short story, it's been conspicuously edited to mesh with these other ones.
So do we like that?
Well, I enjoyed that particular piece of fiction.
Sure.
I think,
and the reference, and just to give you some more examples of stuff that they reference, are Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles and Isaac Asimov's I, Robot.
Yeah, well, and I know for sure that like I, Robot was just an anthology book of, I don't know, something like 10 years worth of short stories.
So what's the difference between a fix-up novel and an anthology?
Well, technically speaking, an anthology doesn't have to have any framing story, right? Like there's no implicit or explicit connection between the stories. They're just presented here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, it was a pretty good opinion.
No, I haven't personally read it, but you'll probably be able to expand on this a lot more there. But The Dark Tower, the Gunslinger is considered a fix-up story.
That's weird. It's like the 7 main books very much don't really fit into that.
But no, specifically The Gunslinger from 1982, like that specific book.
Oh, I could see that. I don't know. I hadn't thought about that, and I haven't read that in quite a while. But yeah, there's a bunch of different chunks that you could easily see being standalone bits.
Oh, also interesting. Also on this list is Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game.
I wonder where they're drawing this information from. That doesn't make any sense.
But you know what? It kind of does.
I mean, does it?
To me, it does.
Like, it was originally short stories?
Yeah, but they don't necessarily have to have been published, right? So it's not like he had to have taken them from previously published magazine material. He could have written them as short stories and then made them into a novel.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Because there are very distinct sections in Ender's Game.
Yeah, bracketed by the dreams, or the giant dream test thing. Yeah,
exactly. But I think you can make a solid argument for, like, for example, like the battle in like the whole idea of their battle in the space 3D space thing, the 3D space battle.
Yeah, you mean before they actually do the computer simulations when they're doing the zero-G combat?
Yeah, when you're doing the
scenarios.
zero-G combat, like I could see that have been a short story and then been adapted into this other narrative.
Yeah, I could see that because it. Looking back, it does seem a little odd that was in there because what Ender ends up doing has nothing really to do with that.
Yeah, though I think I guess the idea was that they were trying to make him into a commander.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's so much time spent on the particular tactics of like freezing their own legs so they have a shield and all this stuff that is no relevance to the actual like real combat that they end up in at the end. Spoilers.
Yeah. So that sort of does speak to me a little bit that it could have been separate ideas that he kind of brought together to make a much better narrative.
Yeah, it could be. Like that was just originally.
I mean, he obviously rewrote it to be like a continuous thing, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like there are enough distinct sections in that book that you could make that argument.
Yeah, I can see it.
Plus, it's one of those things that I don't know a ton about the history of that book, so I can't say that that's something he might have said about it.
Yeah, it might be straight from the horse's mouth, from the Scott Card's mouth.
Exactly. Yeah, that's interesting. Because I'm kind of cool with it. I kind of like the idea of it. I do like it when it's not so obvious. I mean, I like The Last Wish a lot. Like, I thought that was a solid book, but I think that's just because the stories themselves are really interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a sort of that more short story style, but like have it be almost a longer narrative. Because I know, and this is going to be a weird example, completely different from anything we've talked about right now, but when Harper Lee was trying to get To Kill a Mockingbird published, it was described as too much like disconnected short stories.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that seems weird.
But again, it kind of suffers from the same. Well, not suffers. It kind of deals with the same idea that I saw in Ender's Game, where it's got a lot of distinct. Like each chapter is a very distinct story that kind of builds thematically towards this bigger idea, but is not necessarily super related to the bigger idea all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see it. I don't know.
Right? Because you have like the daughter of Atticus. Like Atticus Finch is doing one thing, and then you have the daughter of Atticus who's like hanging out with Boo Radley and like all this other stuff, right? Like there's a lot of disconnect there, in my opinion.
Sort of. I mean, I guess it just feels like it was a story about the kids, and so they do a bunch of different things, and so it doesn't feel all that disconnected because it's just like a sequence of episodes in these children's lives that shapes them.
But does that episodicness not make it like a series of short stories?
Well, I mean, at that point, you could just claim everything with chapters could be divided up like that.
I wouldn't go that far. I think I've read plenty of stuff with chapters that you couldn't divide up like that.
Well, yeah. So I guess that's kind of my point, is I don't think you can actually do that with To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay.
I don't think the sections on there, the chapters on their own would actually make any sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not the one who said that. Like, that's what the publishers were saying at the time, right? Like,
right.
That's a thing that people said.
Yeah, okay. Well, they're wrong.
Sure. I'm cool with that. I like To Kill a Mockingbird. I thought it was a pretty good book.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
It's something I'd like to reread now that I'm older and better able to pay attention to the contents of books.
Yeah, there's probably a lot more there for the adult reader than the like middle school, high school reader.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that in 9th grade.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's probably when I read it too.
Yeah.
Because it is on the Ontario curriculum. Like, it's one of the options for books to read in that grade range.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. Because, I mean, like, it takes place all in the American South. So maybe that's why. It's a place that's similar but different from Ontario.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because, like, for my new, like, comic book project that I've talked about a bit on stream, Strangers Beyond the Door, I've been doing a lot of research. I wouldn't say a lot, but I've been doing some research on towns, specifically Ontario towns. and not the big city ones. So like not Toronto, not Ottawa, not even really Kingston.
You're talking like a Thunder Bay?
I'm talking like Guelph and Waterloo Kitchener. I'm talking Arnprior. I'm talking
to like the 2-horse town.
Well, like Waterloo Kitchener is like 250,000, I think.
Yeah,
like population. So
it's not tiny,
big, but it's not tiny, but it's not that big. Like Guelph is 100,000 or something, 120. Which was about the size I was going for because I wanted because I went to Waterloo for a year, right? And I've been to Waterloo a bunch of times, and my brother went to Guelph, and I've been to Guelph. Guelph's very nice, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I have not.
It's pretty nice. There's some cool stuff there. What's his face? McRae is from there.
Who the hell's McRae?
Robert McRae, who wrote In Flanders Fields.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
He's from Guelph, and his family home is there, and they have a museum to him in there, and it's actually fairly interesting to go to.
Flanders Museum?
Well, it's specifically him, but yes, In Flanders Field is obviously a big part of that. Yeah, it's an interesting place. The university is a big part of it, for sure.
Yeah, that's like an anchor institution for a quote unquote smaller town.
Yeah, and I guess the distinction being that it's probably what we would consider a smaller city rather than a small town.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, because I wanted that kind of size of city, right, where it's like very rural. There's not a lot of tall buildings, but there is sort of like a university, and there's like a dam set there, where most of the action in the first couple issues takes place at the dam. Damn. Yeah, of that kind of like size, right? And I feel like when you read things like To Kill a Mockingbird, like that's very reminiscent of the kind of cities that those are.
Well, that took place in Macomb, didn't it? Or like right outside?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Let's find that out. Monroeville, Alabama. No, that's where she's from. Macomb, Alabama, the seat of Macomb County.
Yes. So I was right.
Yeah. Is that a real place?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm terrible at... Oh, no, sorry. It's based on where she's from. Monroeville in Monroe County.
I swear that there is an American city by that name. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh, interesting.
Nowhere in the States is real.
Truman Capote is also from Monroeville.
No, I'm thinking of the other spelling of Macomb.
Oh, okay. Because Macomb has a population of 6,500.
In the book?
No, in real life.
Monroeville.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So, yeah, quite small.
That's pretty small.
That's not quite the everyone in town knows everyone else, but it's getting close.
Yeah. That's like you probably know a lot of people, but don't necessarily know everybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So you know, like the notable people sort of thing.
There'd be a tightly knit group of people that would make up like the center of that town.
Yeah.
So you were writing something set in a place like that?
Well, I was going for more the kind of like 100,000 range because I wanted there to be like, you know, a few like enough population to sustain like bus routes, for example, because I need buses to exist for my story to work.
Right.
And enough people to kind of deal with that sort of infrastructure of having like a dam and all that. Because not like a dam takes like most dams that I've seen have like a working population of about like 50.
That seems sort of low.
Yeah.
But then again, I guess it's just people to monitor the turbines and stuff.
Yeah. Like that's not all the people who work for the power company in the area. That's just like people specifically employed at that one specific spot.
Yeah. The person who's there all the time.
Yeah. So that's certainly a part of it. And then I wanted a little bit of infrastructure because I didn't want it to be the sort of place that like everybody knew each other. I wanted it to be a little bit more alienating than that.
Yeah, so I mean, you're sitting at a right-ish kind of size.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I think 100,000 ish is pretty good for where I want it. Where it's like, you know, it's big enough. It has a university. There's like a brewery there, like a big one.
Okay.
or I guess a medium-sized one. So we'll say like not like a small one in like the one that we have here, the one that you like, the
Cover Bridge Brewery on
that
Iber
one.
Road in Stittsville, Ontario.
Yeah, like not that one, like, but not like Steam Whistle either, like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I actually
not,
based it off
not
of
garage, but not.
the Waterloo Brewing Company.
How big is their facility? Because they make quite a lot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they're shipped across the province, as far as I know, but they're really big just in Waterloo, sort of thing.
Interesting. I guess if they're local.
Yes, I'm old enough to be on a brewing website.
Wait, they have an age restriction on the website?
It says, "Are you old enough to drink alcohol? Yes or no?"
Oh, it must be some like advertising restriction.
Yeah, maybe.
So like even going to their website is the equivalent
Their
of being.
logo is really cool. They have some nice design.
Yeah. What does their logo look like?
It's a boar. What kind of size are we talking here, people? They don't say. I know they do tours.
Yeah, that boar is definitely not their whole logo. It's like the hammer and wrench behind a big seal. That's what I always see on their beer.
Yeah. Let's get me a satellite view of this building. That's pretty big. It's like a warehouse.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it here, like a street view or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's big, but it's not huge. Like, it's one building.
Yeah.
This is not the Labatt thing in Toronto that makes all of North America Labatt beers.
No, but I wanted it to be big, but not like humongous. So like, I think this is kind of the size I was going for.
Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah. So yeah, I got this. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Hey, they're across the street from a Laser Quest.
That's a dangerous combination.
Well, I guess it's not across the street. It's across the train tracks.
Even worse, you go to one, you get all your craft beer, you get all tanked up, then you run across the train tracks to the laser tag thing right across the street.
Yeah.
That can't go poorly.
No, not at all.
Shine the laser in the eyes of the train operator, and he derails, and it takes out both of them.
Yeah, so Waterloo is 104,000, and Kitchener is what?
Exactly 104,000.
No, Kitchener is 233,000.
That's not right.
That seems high.
No, that actually seems about right.
That's the urban area. Apparently, the metro area is 523,000.
Well, that's this week in the Kitchener Cambridge Waterloo trivia. Tune in next week. Oh, because
the metro area includes Waterloo and Cambridge.
Yeah,
that's why.
It's the Tri-Cities.
Yeah.
So this is going to become a recurring thing. Is this our small town facts, Ontario facts?
Why not? We have a unique perspective.
They don't even have a giant canal. What kind of city is that?
Their library is all glass, though, which is cool as hell.
Like even the books?
They built a glass cube around a historic library.
That doesn't answer the question.
It looks cool as hell, though. I'm going to save this picture for later.
Put it up in the show notes. There aren't any show notes.
Actually, I'm saving it as a reference image for my comic.
Oh, okay. Just like all historical buildings are encased in glass and just in a like constant network of other buildings.
No, because Cambridge was actually a big inspiration for the comic as well, because they have like the Grand River Transit, which is for the Tri-Cities. They run like I think 78 bus routes or something like that.
That's a respectable number of bus routes.
Yeah, which I need to know. It's one of those things like, why do I need to know this? But I do.
So you can know exactly how late the bus is going to be.
So that I can know about what kind of population density I need to require to get a certain number of bus routes, so that my character can take the bus when his car is destroyed by a flying rock.
Questions nobody will ask about your story.
No, but still relevant.
Yeah, I guess so. For your purposes, you have to know.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it would be a hockey arena at some point.
Oh, there'd have to be at least one. Probably more than one.
There's got to be one. No, I mean like a big one with like an actual like sort of like OHL team or something.
Oh, what's the team name going to be?
Oh God, I don't know if I want to. If I don't know, I have a really good one actually, which is kind of terrible but kind of awesome. But I don't really want to reveal it. I don't think because the name of the town is actually a secret right now.
That's a weird town name, man.
Because it's a reference later, yeah.
Oh, well, I guess thanks for murdering that topic. Moving
You're
on.
welcome. I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay. What else has been going on?
I don't know. So, the one thing I am seeing here is that related to a fix-up novel is the idea of a mosaic novel. So that you have individual chapters or short stories that share a common setting or set of characters with the aim of telling a linear story from beginning to end. With the individual chapters, however, refracting a plurality of viewpoints and styles.
Okay, yeah, I've read a couple books like that.
I've read Thieves' World by Robert Lynn Asprin, which is the most famous one that I know of.
Yeah, and it's like every chapter is a different person, and you never really go back.
Yeah, but it's all the same story.
Okay, yeah. Like I read Bret Easton Ellis's The Informers, which got turned into a really, really bad movie. And it's the same thing. Like, you keep getting hints of news stories that are progressing in the background of each of the different snippets. And they're often, more often than not, about the previous or next chapter, next viewpoint character.
Interesting. I like that concept.
They're vampires, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what the Zippo episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer was about.
It was about Zippos?
No, it was about the idea of Xander being a Zippo.
Yeah. You
but
just flick the thing and the fire starts?
Because it was a really interesting episode because there's this whole regular big bad plot happening in the background where like Buffy and the rest of them are like dealing with this thing, and Xander has his own clone thing going on in the foreground. So like throughout the episode, you just see like Buffy and them talking about this bad that they're fighting in the episode, but you don't really get to see a lot of it because you're kind of always with Xander.
Okay, well that's a little different though, because that feels just like an episode, and I'm sure there's a name for it, but like an episode that focuses on a side character, so that then what we previously perceived as like the main plot becomes background.
But is Xander a side character?
I have no idea. I've never watched the show.
Contemporary thought would suggest no, because Xander's is in almost as many episodes as Buffy, if not all of them.
Sure, but if he's not the main like point of view character, not the primary lead,
yeah,
anyone can be a side character if you want them to be.
Even the lead?
Maybe. In this case, yes, the lead becomes a side character in the side character's lead story.
Yeah, definitely.
That makes sense.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah, so right at the end of last episode, we talked about not talking about escape rooms.
Right. Oh, yeah, we did. So let's talk about escape rooms.
Yeah. So a while ago, like 2 months ago?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We did an escape room with a bunch of friends that's just outside of Ottawa at the Diefenbunker.
Yeah.
And, for people who don't know weird Ottawa or Canada history, the Diefenbunker is a nuclear bunker from the 60s designed to protect certain elements in the Canadian government from nuclear war should it happen. And it's named after one of our prime ministers, the prime minister who commissioned it. I think his first name is John Diefenbaker.
Yeah.
And so everyone just calls it the Diefenbunker. Yeah. So for this escape room, the premise is that you as a group of tourists going through the Diefenbunker get locked in, and it's you're the only people with the power to stop like a nuclear launch, I think is what it is. All of Canada's nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of the nuclear weapons that we have. But yeah, so it involved, unlike most escape rooms, instead of being just one room, it was an entire floor of the bunker, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so what was your experience? Because we were broken up into different groups.
I got told off a lot.
Because you didn't know how to solve the puzzles?
No, because within 5 minutes of starting, I had already broken 2 rules.
Yeah, so you were touching things you weren't supposed to be touching.
I went in a place I wasn't supposed to be because Demon Bunker is a museum, and the escape room takes place in the museum. So you're not really supposed to be going through a lot of stuff because there's a lot of historical artifacts there, like old stuff, papers, original papers from like the 60s and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, there was this whole clue about don't let the barrier stop you. And I didn't. I jumped the fence.
So they set themselves up for that one.
In my opinion, I thought it was an easy clue.
Yeah, obviously you just jump the barriers and go break the museum bits.
Well, I didn't break anything. We didn't really touch anything that would have broken or anything like that. So, like, we didn't really do anything bad, but we definitely weren't supposed to be over there.
That's something interesting that sets this particular quote-unquote escape room apart from many of the others, in as much as in the ones that are in a single room, everything is usually in play. Yeah. Like if there's air vents on the wall, there might be something behind them and you'll have to unscrew it and look inside that vent. Whereas here, because it's a existing and operational facility, there are like limits. And in my opinion, it kind of took away from the sense of immersion that we could have had.
Yeah, I agree. And our guide kind of was like walking around, keeping an eye on us because, again, Operation Museum.
Yeah, it felt like at no point did I forget that I was taking part in this event.
Though that being said, if you're solving puzzles on a listed sheet, do you really ever forget that?
Well, I think a lot of them don't have that. Like, they don't explicitly just have an instruction sheet that you tick off.
Right.
And that was kind of my point. Like, usually, I know I haven't done a million escape rooms. I may have only done one. But from everything...
I've also only done one.
From everything that I've ever heard about them, it's more of a exploration or exploratory kind of exercise where one clue gives you... Like, you get the code to a lock and then you open that and it has another clue, and so you sort of go sequentially. Or potentially non-linearly if they give you multiple clues or multiple options to open things up.
Or if technically you just jumped a step by accidentally discovering something that gives you a clue further along the line.
Yeah, and that's definitely possible too.
Yeah. Interesting.
Either way, I thought as a first escape room experience, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the space of it. I do, yeah. It'd be nice. It was really cool to be in a bunker and get to see all the bunkery things. It would be really cool, I think, if someone set up, if they were doing well enough that they could set up in like a warehouse and like make a similar sort of style of.
Yeah, but something more controllable, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking like a movie set, basically.
Yeah, a set of a bunker, so then you can shake it, or you can pipe smoke into it or something.
Like, you can do things with it, and you can put so where we were given a bunch of clues and all that, where instead of giving us a sheet with stuff, you could just give us that sort of same linear track or pseudo-linear track and set us loose in this much bigger area where we don't care about stuff getting broken or whatever because it's just replaceable.
Yeah, and I think that's more along the lines of the usual escape room. It's a wholly artificial environment.
Right. Just because I like that kind of scale, right?
Yeah, and a lot of them are multiple rooms and more potentially linear than the Diefenbunker was, because there was a lot going on there. There's a lot of floor area. There were a lot of rooms to keep track of. Each team had a big map, and even then,
crossed paths a bunch of times while we were going to different spots.
And so I thought that was really interesting, and I wish that they had done more with that, timed it out so that you could, if you cross paths at the right time, if you're both going along at the right timeline, when you cross, you could exchange information that somehow helped the other team.
That would be very specific, though.
I'm sure you could rig up some kind of cross-pollination thing. I don't know. I feel like there's a way.
I mean, you could be right. I just feel like that would like you'd have to have your timings like very very specific.
Well, yeah, for that exact example, sure. But I'm sure there's some way where you can if you do a puzzle beforehand, you can leave a
It'd be
clue.
even cool. Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking. Like where you could leave helpful hints or like a message for somebody in a spot, and they'll get to it eventually.
Yeah,
it would almost when they're following the track.
It would almost be like emergent sub puzzles. Like if you leave this cryptic piece of information, then the other team then has to decipher that. I think this is our next undertaking: make our own escape room with all our experience.
With all our experience. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, as much as we don't necessarily have a ton of experience with physical escape rooms, it's not like we're at all unfamiliar with the concept of adventure games, specifically point and click adventure games, and like the other styles of games that the escape rooms are literally based on.
Absolutely. Yeah, we both played enough of those games to have some sort of insight, and just games, puzzle stuff in general.
Yeah,
because I know
you're as much of a board gamer as I am, like playing cool puzzle board games and all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, puzzle board games, puzzle video games. Yeah, like, I still haven't finished The Witness, which I need to finish.
Yeah, I haven't played that, but I should.
It's pretty exceptional.
Yeah.
I had something that I was gonna say about escape rooms. Now I don't remember.
There's a lot of them in Ottawa, and we should do some more.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 of them that are right around the market, aren't there?
I think so. I think there's a few more too.
Yeah, so there's at least 4 that are from this same company that did the Diefenbunker.
Yeah, that's Escape Manor.
Yes.
Yeah. So in Ottawa, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 downtown, 3, 4, 5, 6 in Hintonburg, Diefenbunker, 1 in Cornwall, and then 3 in a place called Mystery Motel.
Where's that?
Is
it location of mystery?
I'm sorry, wait, what?
Where is it?
Sorry, I was reading the thing and it sounds like amazing.
I'm going to cut all this out.
So apparently it's 3 rooms, but the 3 rooms add up to a specific mystery. So you can either do them individually or all in once.
Oh, that's cool. So that's kind of like what I was talking about.
And it's in York Street. 41 York Street, 3rd floor.
Ottawa?
Yeah.
So there's a lot. So that one company alone has 10?
I think we're in the 15 range.
Okay, so this is getting really popular.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the idea is that all of the ones in Hindenburg are in the same building.
Sure.
Right? Like they just have set up in...
Yeah, multiple rooms or segments of the building.
Yeah. Apocalypse, 1 hour before the world will end. Gallery, you got to get out with a painting that you have to steal.
Oh, nice. Simulated heist?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Covert ops bunker. Oh, look, Psycho. Hello, officers. You can finally confirm the identity of a criminal wanted for the murder of his wife. Blah, blah, blah. You enter his office to gather evidence, and now you're a part of his game. Yeah, that's smart. Ooh, the tomb. Treasure hunters. Abandoned excavation guts. The Pharaoh's curse.
Sounds very Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Escape the Cornwall jail.
Oh, that's not the one that I was thinking of. As soon as you said that, I thought of that Kingston Penitentiary.
Yeah.
That built like a giant castle from the outside. Or looks like a medieval fort.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it a medieval fort?
What?
Well, not medieval.
Are you serious? No.
I meant more like a...
That prison was not a medieval fort. There were no medieval forts in Ontario.
I was not thinking of the timeline. I'm sorry. I was thinking of, was it a fort at all?
Yeah, it was King Arthur. He set up the round table there.
I hate you.
You said it.
I know.
No, it was built as a prison.
Okay.
They're defending against the same kind of things as medieval times people were, which is guys with rocks and ladders, climbing over, climbing under. That's about it.
Yeah. So apparently this mystery motel, You compile 3 major clues, which lead you on a citywide hunt to find the missing Rose Diamond.
Wait,
So there's an actual multi-destination adventure in the city.
wait, really?
Yeah.
So like you finish part of it and then you go and you drive somewhere else?
No, you have to do all 3 rooms to do the.
So like it's what, 3 separate nights? You do a room each night, and then the 4th night you like unlock some DLC room? 'Cause that's what it sounded like.
Well, it sounds like you basically need to complete all 3 rooms to be qualified for this bigger adventure.
Oh, that's really cool that they like keep track.
Because it literally says, "Can my group do the diamond hunt if we collectively play all 3 rooms, but each player only does 1 room?" And it says, "Not yet. Each player needs to play all 3 rooms to secure their piece of the puzzle and qualify for the diamond hunt."
Yeah, you need to have enough EXP.
That being said, I think that would be. I think if we were gonna do something like this, we should do all 3 at once and just do it all.
How long are they? Like, is this something that you could do back to back?
I would assume so. Because I mean, we only did like an hour something for the other one, right?
Yeah, I guess so. All told,
And that was
I
a
think,
much bigger space.
yeah, but it depends on the puzzles themselves. Like, you
Yeah.
could have a 10 by 10 room that takes 3 hours to get out of if you just pack it with puzzles.
Right, but you could still do 3 rooms in a day with 3 hours.
Yeah, it would just be a lot.
It'd be a long day.
That'd be an intense day. 9 hours of puzzling. And that's not counting, like, meal breaks.
Yeah.
Just hope there's no puzzle on the toilet. You gotta, like, solve a Rubik's Cube to open the bathroom door.
The other neat thing is that 6 people is the recommended group size
For each?
whereas for each room, yeah. So six people is like enough. But it's one of those things that when we played the Defen Bunker, it was actually more like a 9.
Yeah, it was 9 to 12, really.
Yeah, so we split up into 2 groups of 3, which would regularly be 3 groups of 4.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were definitely undermanned for that particular one.
Yeah. Whereas we wouldn't be with something like this.
No, and I think, like, 9 to 12 is considered a relatively large group.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to, like, wrestle 5 or 6 people into doing something on anything other than short notice.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if we were going to book that we should we would have to book a day and do it. But we talk to them beforehand and be like, "Hey, what do you like? What's the timeline for? Yeah, what's the timeline for this?"
I don't know. It sounds like a weekend.
Yeah, but that might be really awesome.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't think it'd be. I think by the time you get to the 3rd one on a 1-day exercise, you're going to be tired and probably not at your best for solving puzzles.
Yeah, and it says here that the diamond hunt should take teams between 4 and 5 hours.
Oh, Jesus. So this is
you're right. We'd be better off doing like 2 rooms one day, and then the 3rd room the next day, and then the 4 to 5 hour diamond hunt.
For sure. Because even like 9 hours straight of doing that is a lot on your feet with other people.
Yeah. Though if we were going to do it, we'd have to select the group very carefully.
Yeah, maybe a little different selection criteria than last time.
Yeah. Interesting. I think we should organize it though. I think we should.
Yeah, you send the links, and I don't know, audience, stay tuned because you might hear our future tales of recovering the blood diamond or whatever.
Rose diamond.
Yeah, that's what I said.
What you said.
Mm-hmm. Leonardo DiCaprio in the Rose Diamond.
Leonardo DiCaprio in the Rose Diamond. Plus, there's a magician portion, and who doesn't love magicians?
What? Does he, like, try and tell us what our card was?
No.
So we just go through, we solve a puzzle, we open a door, and inside this tiny closet, there's a magician?
Oh, so the 3 rooms are only 45 minutes long.
Oh, okay. That's a lot more reasonable. So then, all told, it's like 8 hours.
We probably should do it in a day.
Yeah, those 3.
It'd be a long day, but it would.
Well, but then that still probably is only like 5 hours total. Like if you count eating and resting in between them. Like you're not just going to go one to the next to the next.
Right, I suppose, yeah. So you do that one day and then you do the diamond hunt the next day?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah, okay. we'd have to figure that out with the.
Well, and it all depends on people's availability.
Yeah, I think you could do it in a day if you really wanted.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be the best experience.
It'd be realistic though.
Look, this is a curated experience. It doesn't have to be realistic. I don't want to be like starving by the end of the friggin' hunt for Red October.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could probably eat on our 4 to 5 hour hike through the city.
Yeah, if it actually does involve like you having to traverse the streets, like drive around from place to place, maybe that's all part of it. Maybe that's why it takes 5 hours.
Yeah.
I wonder how they get around like all the insurance problems of having people drive around while they're doing part of your event.
Well, I think it's because they basically say once you've secured your dossier, you're on your own.
Oh, so it's like it's just like, oh, well, there's this potential puzzle. Now you go do it, and it's nothing to do with us.
And the diamond hunt is free.
Oh, okay. It's an augmented reality game at this point.
Yeah, and there are prizes.
Alternate reality. Next, they're going to start calling you and giving you hints in your voicemail.
Oh, wow. Participants who complete the hunt successfully are entered into a draw as a team to win a prize package valued at approximately $2,500.
That's not bad.
Quarterly draws. So, draw every 4 months. Huh.
Well, 3 months.
Right. Sorry, I can't math today.
So we're a little over an hour.
Okay.
Did you just want to... Oh, there is one thing that I wanted to do.
You actually win a diamond ring with a retail value of no less than $1,000.
That's amazing. That's actually hilarious. That's perfect.
It's like you actually get the diamond if you find it.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder how many people have solved it.
Can't be that many.
No, exactly, because they wouldn't be making money at that point. If 3 people have spent whatever $30 3 times, that's still only a couple $100.
Well, I guess they give out four of those packages a year, right?
Oh yeah, so it's only 1 per quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, then taking $1,000 hit is a different scenario.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so I wanted to try something new, or I wanted to ask our audience to try something new if they do ever listen.
There are people who listen.
There are people who listen. So I wanted to solicit suggestions for our book club books from the audience.
Oh, right, yeah. We were talking about that.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, if you give us a bad suggestion or you're a comment troll, I'm just going to delete your comment. But...
I mean, basically what you're saying is we're going to vet the suggestions. We're not just going to read any old thing.
Oh, yeah, we're not reading Bookie McBookface. Like, it's not.
But we should, because I've heard it's awesome.
No, you can never let the internet name anything. Never turns out well. Yeah, so if people have suggestions for books that they think we'd find interesting or that they think we haven't heard of or read before, please... I was going to say leave them in the comments on the Podbean thing. I don't know if you can leave comments there, to be honest. But go to our YouTube channel, leave comments on our videos there. You can definitely do that.
Yeah.
And that's read/write book club on YouTube. Or tweet the ideas at us. And I am at MC Pepper Pockets.
And I'm at Freak Lab Mishap.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for the input-output podcast for this week. I guess not for this month. Are we going to have another one this month? Yeah, there'll be one more on the 30th, or on the week of the 30th, I guess.
Yeah. I'll be free on Mondays again, starting next week, so...
Yes, our ongoing schedule turmoil.
Yep, my schedule is all over the place.
Yeah, and probably a future topic of conversation, I bet for next time, you're going to Can Games this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to Can Games this weekend, so I'm going to be playing board games this entire time.
This entire time? Like continuously for a week?
That entire time.
Weeks?
That entire time. Oh my god.
Man, 2 weeks of board games. That's intense.
I am not awake enough for this conversation.
It's a weekend of board games in Ottawa. Where can people find this? online and in real life?
Can Games? I believe it's just cangames.com.
And in the city, where is it being held?
It is cangames.ca. It is being held at the Rito Curling Club on Cooper Street. So downtown.
Yeah, so if you're in Ottawa and you listen to this podcast sometime before Victoria Day weekend of 2017,
which is in like 4 days.
Yeah, then you can make it. And this all assumes that I posted up before that weekend, which is likely, but not 100%.
Awesome.
So potentially hello from the distant past. You missed your chance because I screwed you. So yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Shut up. I'm editing this all out. So yeah, thanks for listening, humble podcast listeners. And we'll see you again next week with episode 6 of the Read Write podcast. We'll be streaming at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/accidental origin. So tune in, listen to us talk about the second half of Glenn Cook's The Black Company. And the week after that, stay tuned for the next episode of this podcast, Input Output. So for me this week, that's it. Is there anything else you want to add?
Are we going to do media?
Oh, yeah, okay, we could do that. I was going to keep that as like a read-write thing.
Is that a read-write thing? I felt like we were doing that this entire time.
I didn't think we did on this. I definitely have something.
I have something as well.
Okay, well, if you want to go.
So this morning, while I was waiting for stuff to clear up so I could come record, I watched True Memoirs of an International Assassin, the Kevin James movie with Netflix.
Kevin James. This is an original Netflix production.
Yes. It was super good.
Did you watch it in 4K?
No, I was on my tablet, so...
Okay.
So it might have been 2K.
Are you on the Netflix 4K package?
No.
So then it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all.
No, I know.
Not even close.
I know. Random tweets from Notch. So yeah, I watched True Memoirs of an International Assassin, and it was really, really good. It's about a writer who writes a book about, like, it's all POV, like, first-person assassin-y book that he's done, like, a ton of research on, and because he's done a ton of research, he knows, like, a bunch of ridiculous things.
Okay, so he's like playing as an assassin because he's written so much about being an assassin?
No, not at all. So he wrote this book about being an assassin, and he hooks up with this publisher who's the best publisher I've ever seen in a movie ever. She like insults him to his face like 18 times about traditional publishing because she's all about ebooks.
Of course.
And stuff. It was and like so they meet at like this Starbucks, and he's like, "This is your office?" And she's like, "Offices are for losers. I work in the cloud."
Amazing.
And like, so she has him sign the contract on her phone and everything.
Okay, so like ultra modern.
Yeah, it's like it was super good though. She like was so legit. So he signs this book, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to change a word of it." She adds the word "true" to the title because it was originally called Memoirs of an International Assassin, and so and they start marketing it as a nonfiction book. And the best part of that sequence was they made fun of James Frey, which was awesome.
Whoa.
So James Frey is the guy who wrote A Million Little Pieces.
Okay.
So he was like he was in jail as a recovering drug addict, and the book was kind of like this biography of him and was supposed to be a real life. Except it turns out that everything about it was a lie.
That's amazing.
And Oprah.
Oh yeah, I remember this. He got in all sorts of trouble on Oprah.
Yeah, because Oprah like was part of the reason he skyrocketed in popularity because she was like behind him and everything.
Yeah, it was an Oprah book club book, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, so it was like a whole thing, and he's like James Frey, and like she was like, yeah, he's an asshole and a liar, but he's a gazillionaire.
It's true.
Yeah, and so they went on this whole thing, and then the whole point of the movie is that he goes on Katie Couric. He gets real nervous. He runs away from the building with the mic still on. Like, there's this whole thing. It blows up, and then he gets kidnapped by Venezuelan rebels.
Because they think he's an assassin, like a
'Cause
real
they
assassin.
think he's a real assassin.
Oh man, this movie's already been made. I've heard this movie before.
Yeah, but it was just like I don't know about the other one, but there's just so much about this movie that like is inherently part of the writing process that I loved it.
Yeah, it sounds like kind of a low rent adaptation.
I guess I've never seen adaptation, and I know you hate me for it.
You should watch it. You'd like adaptation.
Yeah, I probably would. But yeah, it's super good. I really enjoyed it. And I like Kevin James, so like I was cool with that.
Okay. So, what was the title of that again?
True Memoirs of an International Assassin.
Okay, so watch that and see what happens. I have been playing a game called PlayerUnknown's Battleground, which I simply refer to as PUnkBat.
No, everyone refers to it as PUBG.
Why would anyone call it that?
Because it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG.
But Battlegrounds is one name. It's PUnkBat.
It's PUBG, man.
No,
you were way behind in the Twitchverse.
No, not in the Twitchverse that I've been following. We refer to it as PUnkBat because it's a better name. So yeah, I've been playing the shit out of that.
Oh,
yeah, player. It's P from the player, and then UNK from the unknown, and then the bat from the bat. Battleground, PUnkBat. Yeah. So it's really fun. I'm surprised by how fun it is. Just ganking people.
It's I have not played it, but I've seen a lot of it played. Like I know a lot of people who play it all the time.
Yeah, you gotta get it so we can play dualies.
It seems very well designed. It's not very well programmed, but it seems very well designed because it takes into account like all of the stupid bullshit that people will do, and then directly opposes that as a game mechanic.
Well, I feel like it kind of embraces all the dumb bullshit.
Well, I just mean like things like the cloud, the dust cloud to pull everyone in closer and closer, so it's not like you can camp on opposite sides of the map for the entire time, and like there's like a lot of elements that like force interaction between the players. Yes,
yeah, it can be kind of a survival-y thing, kind of like a more of a DayZ, but it at the end of the day, it really wants to be a battle royale. 100 people enter, one man leaves.
So funny you should say that. The lead designer, Brendan Green,
but he was all involved in DayZ. Like he was part of that team for the original mod, and he was part of Arma mod as well.
Yeah, so he's mostly known for creating the Arma 2 mod DayZ Battle Royale, which was an offshoot of DayZ.
Yeah. Well, it was the original, was it not? That the full game of DayZ spun out of?
Maybe.
Pretty sure it was.
But he moved his mod to Arma 3 afterwards.
Well, and still.
He was brought in by Sony to consult on H1Z1.
Oh, yeah, he worked on that too. But so all of those games are like needlessly elaborate, where this game boils it all down to just like pick up thing. If there's a better thing on the ground and you pick it up, it just swaps it out for your existing one. You don't have to do much inventory management. You don't have to mess around with an elaborate control scheme. It's pretty much. I did
like that they gave you a lot of gun customization options.
Yeah, there's some. There's not a lot. It is all still in Greenlight Alpha right now.
Yeah, I mean, too many would bog you down, though.
Right, and that was the problem with Arma.
Yeah, but like it gives you some nice options where you can have different types of scopes and you can swap them out fairly quickly to do different things. And
yeah,
you wouldn't be doing it a ton, but I'm just saying like you have some options for gameplay that give you strategic advantage in areas.
Yeah, well, it's more like a tactical advantage. It's small scale, right?
Yeah,
because you're just at most you're a team of I think 5 if you play that mode. So yeah, picking up the 8x scope versus like the extended magazine can have a dramatically different effect on how you play out the rest of that round.
Yeah.
But they've simplified that as well by making it so like scopes will go on anything. Whereas Arma, if you didn't have a scope that was for that gun that you have for that particular model, it simply won't work because they try to be hyper realistic.
Yeah. Well, Arma is basically a simulator, right?
Yeah, and this is the arcade version of Arma, and it's way more fun.
Yeah, I mean everyone seems to be loving it.
So the really nice thing And the final thing I'll say is it the fast drop in, drop out time.
Oh man, I thought that was such a an awesome feature too. Whereas like as soon as you're dead, you could just leave.
Yeah, that's it. You can stay, but you can't see anything.
Yeah, but it was
So
just
there's
that sort
nothing
of
to watch.
it's just that option of like you're not forced to sit through the rest of the game. Like you can just leave, pop out, and then go into a brand new game right away without having to ever like kind of have downtime.
Absolutely. The maximum amount of downtime is going to be like 60 to 90 seconds while you all load into the holding area before you actually deploy.
And even that is like they give you a bunch of access to guns and all that, so you can practice with different weapons and like just do random junk.
Yeah, I at first thought it was super useful because it helped me learn the controls before I'm actually dumped into the game.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's only there as a practical thing, though, right? Like for all the loading stuff, so that like you're not all waiting for people to start again. Like again, they don't want you to wait. They don't want you to like sit around waiting on the loading screen. They want you to
and
be
they've
doing
done it.
Things.
Yeah, they've done it in a clever way that again is both practical and effective in as much as the area that you load into before you actually play the game is on the same map. It's just a tiny little island way up in the corner that you can't normally get to.
You can actually get there.
Well, yeah, you could get there, but it would be
I
difficult.
know a guy who got there on a boat one time.
You would automatically lose because you'd be stranded there with no gas.
I'm not saying it was a good idea, but I'm just saying he did get there.
I've absolutely thought about it. I think probably the next time I play, I'm going to try and get there. That's maybe my new objective.
Why not? Have you got a chicken dinner yet?
No, you can get a chicken dinner?
That's what you get if you get first place. It says ding ding chicken dinner.
No, I've placed 9th, I think, at best. One time I got in the top 10.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, my tactic generally involves more hiding than actually fighting.
So you know that they've sold over 2 million copies of that game?
Yeah, and I'm amazed at the price because it was $37 for me, I think, $36.99.
Canadian, yeah.
Yeah, Canadian, which is fairly expensive for A, something that's in Greenlight, and B, that's something that's as simple as this. But I feel like when this does get completed, like if there's multiple maps or if there's more character expansion, like
multiple maps would be so cool.
Yeah, I think that would be the best thing because I'm to the point now, and I've only played it for maybe like 2 days, where I am pretty familiar with the map overall.
And I know that they're going heavy for, like, they want to do esports.
Yeah, it feels like that.
Yeah, so
like
they've already announced, they already did, like, a charity event, a charity invitational thing on Twitch, where they, like, raised 120,000 from viewers, and then Bluehole, the company, matched 100,000, so they did 220,000, I guess.
Yeah, so they're doing pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, so that's they donated that to charity, but they're definitely thinking that they want to do like competitive. And you know what? I think there's enough strategic options in the teams and all that would be actually really legit.
I agree. I really enjoy it. There's a lot, like I've tried all sorts of different tactics, and every single one of them, if I'm like half good, is viable.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that like there's an element of randomness in the game that makes it interesting, but not like super difficult to beat certain scenarios.
Yeah, and a lot of the randomness is kind of
it's all about loot, right?
Like, well, the loot is random, but where people go is not really random.
Yeah.
So it's like it's human nature versus statistics. You know,
right, and that's kind of what I'm saying, where like the randomness is in the game engine, what spawns where, but you can get around that because again, you know people and you know how people are going to react and like whatever else, right? There's a lot of stuff that you can.
Yeah, there's places that seem to spawn better stuff, so more people get attracted to those places. Yeah. There's plenty of times where I've paradropped in. And, you know, like I can see that the guy dropping next to me is going for the same building because he believes the same as me that, oh, there's going to be some amazing gun or backpack or whatever that's on top of that. And we end up landing in the same spot. One of us punches the other one to death before we've ever even picked up a single item, only to discover that the whole building's empty.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. It's just tooth and nail for no gain.
But I mean that, like, again, I think that makes for really interesting team strategies in a competitive game.
Yeah, it's really fun. And I've only played the single like deathmatch version.
Teams get really ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I really, really, really want to try that, especially with the vehicles, because there's like a Mad Max buggy you can get with one person driving and the other person sitting facing backwards.
Yeah.
So
I wish they would fix some of the weirdness with the vehicles, but
the vehicles tend to go flying at the drop of a hat.
Well, if you get out, if you're driving too fast, you can actually run yourself over.
I've done that.
Yeah.
You can't set the car handbrakes, so I've parked on a hill, gone to hide in front or like downhill from the car, and then have it, while I was aiming at someone, have it roll over me and kill me at like, half a kilometer an hour. Like the thing's just barely moving and it grinds me into the ground.
That's amazing.
I've found trees that have no collision detection and hid inside of them. That was great.
Did that work?
I'm gonna mark that on the map.
Well for you?
No, it wasn't useful because it was at the edge of the zone, and the zone was slowly closing in. But if I eventually refine that and mark it, write it down where it is, I'm gonna get a kill out of that hollow tree.
Nice.
Okay. Nice. So on that note, that is the end. Tune in next time, listeners. I already gave you the spiel. Maybe I'll cut and paste it here at the end, and you can listen to our beautiful voices again saying that. Right. But otherwise, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See you next time.
Bye.